Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, thanks for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back to watch another video. It's so good to see you with me again today. So in today's video, guys, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be bringing you season 3 episode number 1 of my Instagram live series Money Talks. It's been a while since we've done one of these episodes, so I'm so excited to be back with another season. Episode 1 was with just myself, actually. There was no special guest. I was your special guest. Like I say every single time I do one of these episodes, grab yourself a drink and some snacks and stay tuned for episode number 1 of Money Talks. Guys, good evening everyone. Welcome to the first episode of season 3 of Money Talks. I'm your host Tolu, aka T Money, and on this weekly live series, what I do is have real open conversations about money. So every single week I'm joined by a special guest to talk about one important money topic or another. This week is actually quite different to the usual weeks in that I don't have a special guest joining me tonight on the live. It's just going to be you and me. So on today's live, I thought first episode of the season, let me just do it solo. So since I've been doing Money Talks, this is the 25th episode now, and it's finally time for me to kind of fly the nest and do it by myself and have a conversation with you guys about a money topic that is quite dear to my heart. So thank you guys for joining me. So hi Portify app, hi Claire's Journey, thank you for tuning in. So yeah, I'm not even going to wait a few minutes for people to join, because that is really annoying when you watch the replay and people are doing that. So I'm going to jump right into today's session. So just before I jump in, actually, oh gosh, let me put my phone on silent so we don't have these notifications interrupting us. Cool. How's everyone doing anyway? How are you? How's your week been? How's your week going? It's almost the weekend. How are you feeling? I, for one, am definitely counting down to the weekend. Like, literally cannot wait. Oh my gosh. Hi, Happy Light. Thanks for joining. Hi, Monsteros. Thanks for joining. Cool. So a few conversation topics that I actually have on the agenda for today. So obviously, as you can see from the title of today's session, it's all about why you can't break the payday to payday cycle. But before going into that and the main meat of the conversation, what I wanted to do is kind of catch you lot up on what's been going on with me basically over the past few months. So in the month of August, I took a break from social media. So I did a digital detox. So I quit Instagram, quit YouTube, Facebook, even WhatsApp. I deleted the app. So I basically came off all online platforms in order to just take some time away and kind of regroup. So a few things that really made me or inspired me to do it was, number one, I wanted to spend the summer holidays with my family. So I wanted to really be present with the kids and enjoy that quality time with them and not be too distracted by the apps on my phone and just being busy and not really present with them. So that was one of the big reasons. Another reason was that I wanted to make sure I'm being purposeful with this platform. So I wanted to make sure that on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram page, I'm really clear on exactly what I'm trying to deliver, who I'm serving, and what my purpose is with this platform. So up until now, I've been obviously creating content and creating content that inspires me really and sharing my journey. But along the way, I really want to help other people on their financial journeys too. And I know I've been able to do that today, which has been great, but I really wanted to be more intentional, more streamlined and more clear as to the direction I want to take my place. And that just makes it easier when it comes to the content creation, when you know exactly what you're trying to do and you're not just kind of following what other people are doing or being influenced by other people's content or other people in a similar niche. So those are kind of some of the reasons behind me doing the detox. If you're interested in hearing more, I did a whole video on it, which I released on my YouTube channel just yesterday, where I go into a lot more detail. So you can definitely check that out. Oh, thank you, Claire. Claire said, hi, great topic. Can't wait to hear. Your hair looks amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, so that's why I did the detox, and it was supposed to be for the month of August, and it kind of then led into September. So I only literally came back online about a few days ago now, actually. And so now I'm here. I'm ready to kind of share so much more content with you guys. I'm definitely a lot more clearer in terms of who exactly I really want to help. I want to help everybody, but it's always important to kind of have your niche, like they say, in terms of the people that you want to support and serve, and then obviously everybody else can benefit from the content too. But I think my passion and my desire is to really help millennial mums. So that's me, people like myself that kind of really want to break that payday to payday cycle and be more intentional with their money. And why I say millennial mums as opposed to millennial women, obviously millennial women can additionally benefit from my content. But I think specifically mums, because I think we are raising the next generation. So it's really important that we know these financial principles and we're good with money, so that we can teach them and teach our children so that they can kind of go into the world and be more confident and make better financial decisions, because children learn a lot by observation as opposed to what we tell them to do. So if they can see us applying these good principles to our money, then they should kind of follow suit, and it will make life a lot easier for them as they grow into adulthood. So those are really my passions behind what I want to be doing on this page moving forward, which is why if you see over the last few days on my page, a lot of my content has been all about breaking the payday to payday cycle. And today's live is also going to be on that topic as well, because I think once we can master that and really break that cycle, we can then have more of our money to put towards our other financial goals. But I think if we continue in that rat race of, you know, you get paid, you spend the money, you get paid again, you wait to payday, you spend the money, and it just continues. If you don't actually be intentional about breaking that cycle, it's just literally that, a never ending cycle. So that's why I'm really passionate about sharing this content. And I know from the feedback that I've got on the posts that I've done the past few days, I know it's something that you guys are really interested in hearing about, and I know it's something that we want to master together. So the post that I did the other day about how to break the payday to payday cycle had over 150 saves. That's unheard of from my Instagram post. I don't usually get that many saves on a post, but that just told me that yes, Tolly, you're on the right track, and this is something that people definitely want help with. So thanks for everyone that saved that post, and I hope it really does help you. And that was just 4 points I think I made in that post out of 10, which is on the full video on my YouTube channel. So again, you can check that out after this live and go and see the other points that I mentioned on that on that video, sorry, because I think, yeah, definitely it would really help you. Even if you just apply a few of those things when it comes to your finances, I think it would definitely make all the difference. But yeah, so that was a bit about the digital detox and kind of the direction in which I want to be going on this platform. It was definitely good to take that break. Let me know actually in the comment section below if you've ever done things like that, like done a detox or taken a social media break or done a social media fast, if you've done it, or if you do it regularly. Because I know some people have told me that they do it on the weekend. So like they have Sunday where they don't post, or Thursday where they literally don't use any of the apps. Let me know if that's something that you guys try, because I definitely cannot recommend it enough. Like that time away, just not being constantly fed content was really refreshing, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. Sophia said, even in toilet, it's been a long day, hoping I can stay awake for the full session. It's not going to be that long a session, to be honest. I'm hoping to keep it to half an hour. If you guys actually have any questions or anything, leave it in the question box. I think I know how to use it. It's been a while, but I'm sure I'll be fine. But yeah, leave any questions that you have and I can answer them as we go through. But yeah, definitely social media fast. I think it's so important to take that break sometimes, just to listen to your own voice and hear your own voice, because when you're constantly just consuming, you don't actually have time to sit back and think. Just generally having that thinking space just done the world of difference to me, and I hope that's reflected actually in the content that I've been bringing to you guys. And there's definitely so much more in the pipeline, so stay tuned, because over the next few weeks you're going to kind of see the results of me not being online for the month of August. So me with a T said, I don't do a social media fast because I'll never have passwords again. Lol, that is actually funny. Yeah, that's so funny, because nowadays everything's on Google, so you don't actually need to remember your passwords. But no, it's definitely worth doing it once in a while. And the Shackles of Debt said, some weeks I feel not posting at all, so it turns into an involuntary fast. I heard that too. Oh my gosh. And me going away, for the month of August and September, and then coming back like the end of the month or last week, it was really challenging. I can't lie. When you step away from creating content and then you come back, it's like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. It's a really weird feeling. And I delayed that coming back for 3 weeks because of it. But yeah, you just have to kind of jump back into it, I guess. But yeah, no, definitely couldn't recommend them enough. Social media fast when you can. Do it. Take those regular breaks. I think it's so important. If I'm looking over here, it's because I've written down some notes so that I don't just go off on a tangent, because I am quite a chatterbox. So I want to make sure that I'm actually sharing the value that I wanted to share in this live. It's also good to have a chat, but at the same time, we need to still have a little bit of a script that we go back to, so that this thing isn't completely all over the place. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions as we're going through, be sure to just fire them away in the question box and I'll answer them. But yeah, it's not going to be too long a session, but there's just a few bits that I want to cover, notes that I took down ahead of the session, again, so that I'm not just waffling. But yeah, moving on to okay, yeah, payday to payday. So the title of today's session is obviously why you can't break the day, that's funny. Why you can't break the payday to payday cycle. And I know that is something that, like I said earlier, if we can master it, we can literally transform our financial situations for the better. And I think there are a number of reasons why I think it's hard to break that cycle. And I think if we're able to identify some of those reasons, we can then take the steps to kind of combat them and overcome them. But I think if we're not aware of where the issue is, or we're not aware of, you know, what is causing us to continue this, repeating this cycle, then it's going to be quite difficult to, I guess, break that cycle or, yeah, overcome it. So what I'm going to be sharing basically, again, this is crowd participation. So I'm going to be sharing different reasons and reasons that I've come across from clients that I've spoken to, and also from myself, my previous experiences when I was in that payday to payday cycle. These are just kind of some of the reasons that keep you stuck there. And I just want you to kind of say yes, no, maybe so, or just, you don't have to actually expose yourself, to be fair, but you could just have a think as I'm saying them and think, okay, yes, I can relate to this, I can relate to that, I don't relate, etc. And just make notes of that and just see how many of the 10 things that I'm going to go through relate to you and how many of them don't relate to you. And just as I'm going through them, I'm also going to be sharing kind of solutions that I think can help you to kind of overcome that particular struggle area, if that is your struggle area. So yeah, just bear with me as I work my way through the list. And again, if you can relate to any of them as I'm saying it, then be like, yeah, that's me, if you want to. And if you don't want to actually say it on the live, that's fine. You can just nod your head at home, and yeah, me and you will both know that you can see where I'm coming from. So it's all good. So I think yeah, one of the things I wanted to mention actually before jumping into those 10 points when it comes to the payday to payday cycle is that I think sometimes there's a misconception that, you know, people that are in that payday to payday cycle are people that are maybe struggling financially or don't earn a lot of money. And that doesn't always have to be the case, because I've worked with people and I know from my own experience that a lot of the times it isn't exactly how much we earn that is the issue, but it's just how much of it we're able to keep due to our expenses. So the main thing is if you're earning £100,000 and you're spending £100,000, then you don't have no money left over to put towards any other financial goal. But trying to basically increase that gap between your income and expenses is where you're going to find that money to be able to then put towards your different wealth building opportunities. So I think definitely don't think that, you know, oh, it's because I'm not earning X, Y, and Z amount, that's why I can't break this cycle. Or you may think, oh yeah, I'm earning X, Y, Z amount, so this doesn't actually apply to me because I earn enough. But no matter how much you earn or how little you earn, you need to kind of bridge that gap and make that gap as big as possible in order to free up some of your cash to put towards whatever your other financial goals may be. So the first one that I've identified, which was definitely a big one for me prior to my debt-free journey, was one of the biggest reasons why I was in debt. Living payday to payday was because I had a lot of high interest debt and I was only making minimum payments. So one of the biggest budget busters, I guess, is debt. So if you have high interest debt and you're currently only making minimum payments, but then you're putting money towards other things that maybe are not as important, then that's going to make it harder for you to break that cycle. So if you do have high interest debt that you're just making the minimum payments on, then I think it's really important to kind of look at your budget, look at your income, and look at where your expenses are going right now, and look at where you can free up money so that you can accelerate those debt repayments. So for me, when we were in a lot of consumer debt, I've shared my story like 100 times, so I'm not going to go over it again. There's videos on my channel where I talk about it at length, but there was a time when we were in a lot of consumer debt, and just being able to accelerate those debt repayments helped us to get out of debt within a few years. But had we not done that and continued making the minimum payments on a monthly basis, then we probably will still be trying to pay that debt off now, because that interest that we were paying on the debt alone was a killer, let alone the actual money that was going towards the debt repayments as well. So I think if you're making minimum payments on your debt, especially high interest debt, then it is important to kind of free up as much of that cash as you can so that you can put towards making those debt repayments bigger than the minimum payment threshold, because that is going to really make it hard to break the payday to payday cycle. Like I mentioned earlier about the fact that the gap between your income and your expenses is your opportunity to build wealth. So if, let's say for example, you're earning £3,000 a month, that would be nice, but let's say you're earning £3,000 a month and £1,000 of it is going towards the minimum debt repayments, then that's only £2,000 left to spend on all your other expenses. So you can quickly see where all your money's going, and you can quickly see how it would be hard to break that cycle if all your money is going towards debt instead of going towards your other financial goals that you want to achieve. So high interest debt, if you have any of it, I'm talking credit cards, overdrafts, loan to your mum, depending on if she's charging you interest on the money you owe her, all those kind of things that are going to be eating out your payment on a monthly basis when you get paid. You really want to prioritize paying that off as soon as possible. The next one I've got is failing to plan for irregular expenses. Now guys, we're friends, let's be honest. I'm going to tell you a quick story about myself and just let you know that just because I'm here talking about money online, Tolu is not perfect and Tolu gets it wrong too. So literally just today, and I'm talking literally today, the 30th of September. Yeah, today I got a notification from Google saying they had taken payment for my Google Drive yearly subscription. So that is an irregular expense that comes out once a year that I had totally forgotten about. Like usually what I do is I write the dates in my calendar so I know when things are coming out. But when I bought that subscription a year ago, I hadn't taken note of it. So that's an irregular expense that occurred that I now have to pay for this month. And that's £80. So if you've got a few of those that are coming out of your account here and there on a monthly basis, you can quickly see where all your money is going and why you're making it difficult for you to break that payday to payday cycle. So when you have irregular expenses and you're not necessarily planning for them and you haven't budgeted towards them or you haven't taken them into consideration, then that's where your money's going to be going, leaving you with less money to kind of put towards your financial goals. Sophia says, the only sort of debt I have is student loan, not started paying that yet, as not out of university. No, I knew what you meant. You said started. I thought so. You meant started. That's fine. Little typo. We can forgive that. But yeah, no, that totally makes sense. If you're based in the UK as well, student loan works very differently than it does in the US. I know in the US, student loan is pretty much like a bank loan, in which case it's high interest and does need to be paid off quite quickly. Whereas over here, we see it more as a tax. So there isn't that urgency to kind of pay it off. So you're in a good position, to be honest. If that's the only debt that you have, that is not bad. But the debt that I'm specifically focusing on is high interest consumer debt. So I don't know, car on finance, the laptop that you may have financed, all these kind of things that are charging you high interest. These are the things that we want to aggressively attack and repay as soon as possible. The next one is failure to plan, and that's just period, full stop. Failing to plan when it comes to your finances. So if you've been around my page for any length of time, you'll know that I'm talking about the B word and I'm talking about budget. If you don't have a budget and a plan for your money, it's going to be very, very hard. I think near right impossible, to be honest, to break that payday to payday cycle. Because I think without having a plan for your money, being intentional and telling your money where to go at the start of the month, it's going to be very hard to kind of keep the money in check and rein the money in, because the money ends up kind of just slipping through your fingers. So I think having that conscious spending plan for your money, having a budget, having a plan, telling your money where to go is really going to help you when it comes to breaking that payday to payday cycle, because you're being intentional with your finances, you're being intentional where you spend your money, and being intentional where your money goes to. So I have my budget template actually, which you can find via the link in my bio, which I sell on my website. It's the budget that I use to manage my finances on a monthly basis, and it's definitely served me well. And it served many of you guys well too as well. I did a post just this morning, or earlier this afternoon actually, sharing the fact that I've had 100 sales of my digital product, and my budget planner was actually one of those digital products. So just to think that over 100 people now all around the world have been buying these digital products, and it's been helping them with their finances, is such a rewarding feeling. Like literally, I can't express it enough how amazing it feels, especially when you get those DMs and the messages of people saying how, wow, thank you, Tolu, I've been able to save X, Y, and Z amount. Thanks, Tolu, I'm no longer in debt because of your template. And yeah, it's just absolutely incredible. So if you don't have a budget in place and you're just looking for a template to get started, then definitely check out my budget planner via the link in my bio. And if you have any questions about getting started, kind of working through it, because I know the first time doing a budget, if you've never done it before, it can be a bit overwhelming. But again, I can help you walk through that so that, yeah, we can get you set up on a budget and get intentional with that money and telling that money where to go on a monthly basis. Because yeah, budget. I can't stress enough how fantastic it is for me anyway, financially, for my family. Creating a budget and a plan for our money was the game changer. That was what literally helped me when it came to my debt-free journey. It was creating a budget, getting in control of my money, being intentional about where I spend my money, and just feeling like my money's not controlling me. I'm controlling the money. I feel like, okay, no, now I'm in control of the situation. I know exactly what I'm doing. It just was a game changer. So yeah, budget. If you don't have one, get one. If you don't have a plan, get one. You don't have to get mine if you don't want to. Just get a budget and a plan for your money, because yeah, it's a game changer. When you do start budgeting and it starts working for you, and all of a sudden you think, wow, I've got a pay rise without actually getting a pay rise, then you can just DM me and be like, yeah, Tolly, you were right. And then that would just be a reward in itself, because yeah, it literally was transformational for me. So I'm just going back to the messages because I don't want to leave it too long and then the messages are not relevant to what we're currently saying. So yeah, me with a T said, can we define what you mean by a payday to payday cycle? Because if you budget down to zero, isn't that normal? Oh, okay, so that's a really good point that you've made there. But the key is basically planning for that whole money payday to payday. So yes, I see what you're saying, but no, because we're not spending all that money. So within that budget, you're going to allocate money to your saving, to your investing, to your paying down debt, to your sinking funds, to your emergency fund. So the money's all being allocated to things that are working towards your financial future. So as opposed to being paid and just putting all the money on fund money, or just kind of paying your mandatory bills and then the rest of the money is just free for all and you can do what you like with it. When you kind of plan for every penny and pound and allocate a certain percentage towards saving, investing, sinking funds, building your wealth, then that's when you're breaking that cycle, because now you've got a month's worth of pay that you've saved up because you've been saving for the past 3 months. Then maybe 6 months down the line, you now have 2 months worth of pay. So that means you could use your job tomorrow and you will still be able to survive for the next 2 months because of that money that you've been stashing away using your budget, if that makes sense. Yes, Sophia says love planning and a budget is a must. Yes, I agree. And she said, thanks, congratulations, huge achievement. Thank you, appreciate it. No, that's fine, that's fine. And I'm glad you asked as well, because someone else may have been thinking the same thing. And yeah, at least now we can clarify that, exactly the difference between the two. So no, appreciate the question, thank you. Keep them coming. The next one I've got is you're an impulse spender. So I don't know about you, but that is something that I'm still working on till this day, the impulse shopping. Impulse shopping is really going to be a budget buster, and it's going to make it very hard to break that cycle. Because if you're saying I've assigned, for example, in my budget this month, £200 for fun money, and you spent that £200 fun money, but then you've seen a shirt that's on sale that you need to buy, and then you end up buying that, and then you've seen some trainers that have gone on sale and you end up buying that. Before you know it, all the money has gone because you've done all these impulse purchases which were not necessarily in your budget and you could have lived without. So I think impulse spending, which again is something that I'm still working on, because I can't say I'm perfect and that I never buy on impulse, because I do, but drastically lower than it was in the past. Before, I just lived on impulse, to be honest. There was no plan. I just, if I wanted it, I'll buy it. Whereas now it's like, no, I'm a lot better. I'm a lot better at saying no to myself and just really considering the purchase. So one thing that I like to do, which I like to recommend to clients as well, is applying the 72-hour rule to purchases. So if there's something that you do want to buy and it's not within a budget, or you haven't planned for it, you haven't saved towards it, etc., ask yourself, well, in fact, don't ask yourself yet. Say to yourself, I'm going to wait a second before I make this purchase, and come back again maybe in 3 days time. So 72 hours later, you're going to come back and be like, actually, do I still want that? Do I still want that? And what tends to happen after a while is that actually after 72 hours, you end up not needing to buy that purchase. So that thing that you thought in a split second, oh yeah, let me buy that, all of a sudden when you've waited a few days, you realize, actually, I can live without this. I don't need it. And just do that a few times a month. And maybe that takeaway that you had said you were going to get on impulse, that was £20 that you didn't buy, that's £20 that you can now take and put to your savings. Then that dress that you thought you was going to buy, that you wanted to buy on impulse and you didn't buy, that's another £30 that you can just take and put to your savings. And that's £50 that you would have spent on impulse that you haven't spent now because you have used the 72-hour rule and you've just not bought on impulse. So yeah, impulse shopping is definitely a budget buster, and that's going to waste a lot of your money. So I think the 72-hour rule is a great way to kind of curb that impulse shopping. Again, it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you're accustomed to a certain way of living and you're just used to buying what you want when you want. Having to discipline yourself and say no to yourself can be very challenging. But what I like to say to clients is that it's just like our kids, isn't it? Like, I have 3 sons, and every time we go to the shop, they want to buy something. We can't enter a shop without them pestering me saying, "Mummy, can we buy this? Can we buy that?" But I don't always say yes to them. Sometimes I have to say no to them, and that's with a child. So if we're always saying to our children no, or we have to, deny our children what they want sometimes, just so they don't think that, they can just have what they want when they want, then we need to try and do the same thing and use the same energy for ourselves at times as well. So sometimes say no to yourself. It's okay to kind of deny yourself sometimes and say, actually, this occasion, I'm not going to get that. I'm just going to keep that money for myself and put it towards whatever my financial goal is. So I think, definitely having that self-discipline and saying no to self and not shopping on impulse so much will definitely help when it comes to breaking that payday to payday cycle. Me with a T said impulse shopping with food. I'm so bad with it. Yes, one thing that I can say when it comes to shopping, impulse shopping, especially when it comes to groceries, is don't go shopping on an empty stomach. Like, that is gonna make you spend money unnecessarily. Anytime I go shopping and I haven't eaten, I end up buying some donuts or some pastries or just some random bits that were not in the plan, were not on the shopping list. So I think definitely having a plan, having a shopping list that you're working with and eating before you go will definitely kind of help you when it comes to curbing that impulse shopping. So yeah, that will definitely help. And Sophia says she's getting better at the impulse shopping. Hadassah said, yeah, she's the same with food. Yeah, food, I think if anything in my budget every month is over, or anything in my budget goes over in a month, it's going to be food. That's going to be the one area that I overspend in, because yeah, food food is the bane of my life. I like to eat, unfortunately, but yeah. Definitely. I think the 72-hour rule really help when it comes to impulse shopping, and shopping when you're not hungry, or not shopping when you're hungry, sorry, really help. The Costco pastries. Well, I don't think I know about the Costco pastries, but the little ones, those ones are really nice. Really, really nice, actually. Too nice, in fact. Oh, another one I've got on here is, let me know in the comment section if you're guilty of this one. It's paying for memberships that you don't use. So paying for memberships, paying for subscriptions that you're not using. So I think the gym is one of those ones that a lot of people are guilty of. I know I was for many, many years, paying that gym membership and saying, no, I'm going to go. And then I never go, and it just never happens. I don't ever make it to the gym, yet I'm paying every single month. I remember there was one time that I even paid for the annual subscription, thinking, okay, because I've paid for the year, that means I'm going to go because it's a lot of money. That didn't even work. I still didn't go. Virgin Gym just took all my money. So yeah, I think memberships and subscriptions that you're not actually using, those kind of things are really gonna eat into your bottom line. So definitely, if you review those ones on a regular basis. That gym membership, if you're one of those people that was crying about the gyms being closed throughout lockdown, and you're like, oh my gosh, they need to open the gym, I need to get back to the gym, and then the gyms reopened and you went on the first day and you haven't returned, then yeah, maybe it's time to consider just cancelling that membership, because it's not going to happen. Yeah, there's other ways you can actually exercise anyway, and it's for free. So there's videos online, you can maybe try some of those, maybe go for runs around your area, try and find alternative ways to kind of achieve the same results for less money. So I think that definitely would help. But yeah, unused memberships and subscriptions, don't just be giving these companies your money if you're not using it. Trust me, it's not the way to go. They're the ones enjoying your money, and yeah, you work hard for that money. It's important that you get the most out of it and not everybody else. I really need to start budgeting. Yes, Hadassah, you should. Oh, it's Amma actually, isn't it? Hadassah is your surname, I'm assuming. Sorry, I've just read your name properly. But yes, Amma, start budgeting, literally. And when you do, let me know how it goes. Let me know if it's as effective as I'm telling you it is, because yeah, it really is. Once you do it, you'll never turn back, literally. Next on the list, what else have I got here? I'm skipping through them because I'm just conscious of the time, and I didn't want it to go past 8:30, and it's already just hit 8:30 and I've got a few more to get through. But bear with me. Thanks for sticking around, by the way, guys. Those of you that are still here, thank you. It's fantastic. Enjoying this conversation. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Short-term focus. So you're very focused on the now and not really that focused on the future. So you're focused on how to spend your money now. And again, that is something that I was guilty of for many, many, many years. So payday's coming. I'm just thinking about what I need to get on payday. So all the things I want to buy and all the things I want to spend money on, and not necessarily thinking too long term, or thinking about the future, or thinking about, you know, what I want to do in 5 years time, or where I want to be in 5 years time. I'm just thinking, I've been paid, I got money to burn, let me burn it, kind of thing. So I think not having long-term financial goals, or even medium time, or any kind of financial goals, in fact, that you're working towards, and kind of just being focused on spending the money now, is going to make it very hard to break that cycle. So I think if you don't have any kind of financial goals that you're working towards, or any kind of financial plan that you're trying to achieve, I think now is the time to get that plan in place and start thinking about, you know, where do I want to be financially in a year's time, 2 years time, 3 years time. Particularly, like I was saying earlier, if you're a mother and you have children, it's just so important to kind of have these financial goals and kind of get in control of your money and be really mindful and intentional about the money moves that you make, because they're watching. These children, they are watching. They may not say anything, but they're observing everything that we're doing, and they're learning from us. We're teaching them one way or another, whether or not we're sitting down and having a maths lesson with them or a money lesson with them, or they're just watching what we're doing when we go to the shops and we say, I'm going to buy milk, and you come back with free shopping bags. They're seeing all of this and they're taking it in and they're learning it, whether we like to admit it or not. So I think it's so important to kind of be mindful of this and do better for them, basically, so that they don't kind of make the similar mistakes that we may have made on our financial journeys. So definitely I think not being too focused on the now and kind of thinking more about the future will definitely help make a difference when it comes to breaking that payday to payday cycle. Gosh, sorry, I need to drink some water. My mouth is getting so dry. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. Okay, so next, wow, did you hear my voice just go up an octave, or was that just me? Literally, my voice just went higher. The way it was just drying up as I was talking, but sorry. The next one I've got, this is another one actually, not being resourceful. So you're not necessarily being that resourceful when it comes to your money, which is why you're finding it hard to break that cycle. So what do I mean by that? So being resourceful is like trying to find an alternative way to achieve the same thing, but for less money. So there's a page that I follow, actually, a lovely lady. She's been on my live before, Chloe's Deals Club. So she basically finds really, really good deals. So you can get the same product, but at a discounted price, because she sourced the best deals to get that product. And I think if we apply those kind of principles just to anything we're trying to do, so when it comes to electricity, gas, for example, have you actually switched anytime? Have you switched of late, or have you just kind of letting it auto renew and paying an extra premium for that just because you haven't shopped around? So just being resourceful and shopping around and trying to find cheaper ways to do things, or just making sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck, is going to free up a lot more of your money to kind of put towards your financial goals. Because if you're just kind of, okay, the phone bill is £50, fine, I'll just pay it, and you're not even thinking, let me negotiate and see if I can get a better deal elsewhere, you're literally leaving money on the table, because other people are doing that and they're getting a discount. So that same phone bill that you're paying £50 for, your friend next door is paying £20 for it, just because they've made a few phone calls and they've negotiated a better price. So I think just being a bit resourceful and just kind of thinking, actually, is this the best use of my money? Actually, am I getting the most out of my money for this same product or service? Will save you so much more money. But if you're just kind of, you just pay it and don't really consider it or ask any questions, you're literally leaving money on the table, like I said. So it's definitely worth having those conversations, asking, haggling. There's nothing wrong with it. Haggle, especially when it comes to like phone companies, internet companies, gas, electricity, those things. There's always room for negotiation. So just try. Insurance as well. Shop around. Ask again. If they say no, then you can go to their competitor and get a better price. Just, be resourceful and don't just go for the first price of anything just because it's convenience. Because, convenience costs. That's another thing, actually. It costs when you just always go for the most convenient option. So, like, even things like when we go back to the grocery shopping example, when it comes to things like onions, for example, you can buy onions all chopped up in a bag as opposed to buying the raw onions. But those chopped up onions are going to cost you a lot more than if you bought the raw onions. And just, that's the cost of convenience. So, yes, you may think, okay, it saved me, a few minutes that it would have taken me to chop up those onions. But, I mean, what would you have done with those 2 minutes anyway? Probably been scrolling on Instagram. So just for the sake of a couple of minutes, you're paying a couple of extra pounds. So little things like that, just being resourceful and being mindful of where your money's kind of just leaking out will really help you when it comes to breaking that cycle. Because if not, these companies are just going to keep taking your money. And like I was saying earlier, everybody else is chopping from this money. It's important that you're chopping too and you're enjoying the fruits of your labor too. So just again, be mindful of that. Another point, which I wasn't sure whether I was going to mention it on this live, but I think it's a safe space. It's a safe space. We're all friends here. You guys are not going to be angry at me. But I think one of those things that really, really does make it difficult to break that payday to payday cycle is keeping up with the Joneses. Now, I know the Joneses, they get a very bad rap, and people are always like, hey, the Joneses are broke and all the rest of it. And to be honest, the Joneses, they may or may not be broke. That's not even the point. The point is that we don't know their story in it. So you don't know their story, you can't be jealous of their glory. So you don't know what they've taken to get to where they are now. You don't know how they've acquired what they've acquired, what their story is, the cost of them getting to where they've got to. You're just seeing that, you're thinking, yeah, I want to do the same thing. Yes, I deserve it too. I work hard. Let me go and buy that new house, or let me go and buy that new car. Let me upgrade my phone, whatever it may be. Just be mindful of what is influencing you and what is making you make the certain financial decisions that you make. Because a lot of times we can say that, I don't care that X, Y, and Z has done this, but is that actually true? Only you know your truth, and you know your reality, and you know what is influencing you. But I think a lot of times we say that things are not influencing us, and yeah, I'm in control of the decisions I make, and I make up my own mind, and I'm my own person, etc., etc. But subconsciously, you'll be surprised at the things that are actually getting to you and making you make certain buying decisions that you make. So you may think that I make my decisions based on me, but let's just look at the fashion, the things that we wear. You know that we are being influenced by other people, because some of the things that we wear are silly. Like, we look ridiculous. I don't look ridiculous, but some of the things you see people wear, you're like, this is a joke, right? But because we're being influenced, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, they said I have to wear socks and slippers outside, so I'm going to wear socks and slippers outside, and that's become the norm. So we can't say that we're not being influenced. The reality is we are all being influenced by somebody and something. So we just need to be mindful of that and just be conscious of that, and not allow what other people are doing to affect our pockets. So I'm not saying don't, have people on your Instagram that inspire you, etc. It's good to be inspired, but it's also good to have money saved in your bank account. Do you know what I mean? And it's also good to kind of achieve your own financial goals. So don't follow what anyone else is doing to your own financial detriment. Kind of be mindful of your money and your financial goals, and have your own plan that you're working towards. And don't just, keep up with the Joneses. Because it's gonna make you waste a lot of money. Like, I can even give you a personal example, because I like to give personal examples and just air out my dirty laundry. But years ago, when we was in a lot of debt, one of the things that we did do when we was keeping up with the Joneses, I wouldn't even say the Joneses, because this is family now. We went on this family vacation. I think I've spoken about it on lives before, but this holiday, we had no business there. We had no business going on that trip whatsoever, because we were in a lot of debt. But because we wanted to, keep face, keep up appearances, we didn't want to let anybody down. We didn't want people to know, the depth of our financial situation. We just went along with everybody and went on that trip. We put it on a credit card, holiday, flights, spending money, everything was all on finance, and we went on that trip. But it's like, what is the point of doing that? We had to now come back home and pay all of those credit card debts off, just because we wanted to keep up with everybody else. What we could have done, and what we should have done, and what I would do if I was in that same predicament now, is just say no. I would have just said, no, I can't come. It's not by force. I'm not coming on this trip because I haven't got the money to pay for it. And there is nothing wrong with that. And if they find an issue with that, then that's your problem, not mine, if you see what I mean. So I think, just being mindful of where we put our money, and just realizing that our money is our money. We work hard for our money. It's important that we keep it, and we don't allow other people to dictate how we spend our money, and we don't allow ourselves to be influenced negatively by what other people are doing. Because when you have that debt waiting for you at home, all these people that I went on holiday with, nobody was coming to pay my bill for me. Nobody came to pay that debt back for me. I had to pay it all back myself. Well, myself and my husband, but we had to pay it back ourselves. So at the end of the day, nobody else is going to take responsibility for your financial future. Your financial future is literally in your hands. So that's your choice to make. And just make the right one is what I'm basically saying. Gosh, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a rant there, guys. But I just had to say that keeping up with the Joneses thing is very dangerous. So I'm just going back to the comments. Sophia said, love that. Convenience cost. Oh yeah, it costs big time. The cost of convenience is premium. It's a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong here, guys, okay? Yes, sometimes you do need convenience. So like, for example, washing the car. I could probably wash my car myself, but that's one thing that is convenient that I'm going to keep paying for until they get to £20, because that price has been going up. And I said, the moment it gets to £20 is when I say no more and I start washing my car at home. But for now, it's at £16. So I'm like, okay, you lot got £4 more until this thing is a wrap. But I think, convenience costs. Yes, we do need convenience, but at the end of the day, in moderation. And just not everything has to be convenient, because it's gonna, like I was saying earlier, eat up your money. 876 Lily said, I've been trying to budget all year and still not been able to do it. Do you know what? I will challenge what you're saying there, Lily, in that you probably are doing it. It's probably not perfect, and the reality is it's never going to be perfect. But the fact that you're being intentional with it on a monthly basis, if you look back at your budget 6 months ago, I think you're going to find a big difference. I think you're going to find that there's certain patterns that you had 6 months ago that you probably don't have now. You're going to find that there's been certain small wins that you've made along the way. So don't be too, how can I say it? Don't be too focused on the fact that it's not perfect now. Just appreciate the journey is what I'm trying to get to. Like, appreciate how far you've come and reward yourself for that. Because I think, yeah, a lot of times we can be quite self-critical and, you know, just put ourselves down and say, you know, I've just failed or I've flopped. I'm not doing well at this. But I think if you actually take a step back and actually look at what you've been doing month on month, if you have been consistent with this budget, you're going to find that you've come further than you would have been a year ago today. But slide in my DMs anyway, we can have a conversation. You can talk to me a bit about what you are doing, and I can kind of give you some more tips and pointers and just see if I can help you to get better at it as we go into the new year. Because yeah, you can do it. You can definitely do it. But yeah, let's have that conversation offline. And yes, that is true. That's a good point, Sophia, as well. There are different budgeting methods as well. So the zero-based budget, the one I bang on about, is the one that I use, but that doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you use too. There's the 50-20-30 budget as well. There's the no budget. There's literally so many different methods of budgeting. So you can also review those ones and see if there's one that kind of fits your personality more, or one that you think you can be more comfortable with trying. Zaki's Adventure said, so right, there is such a huge psychological aspect to money and spending. Huge, definitely. The psychology of money, actually an excellent book I read August when I was doing my detox. The Psychology of Money. It goes into depth about, the relationship between our brains and money. It's actually a fascinating read. Definitely check it out if you want to. It's on Audible as well, so you can listen to the audio version. And Sophia said, no shame in saying no. Can I get an amen? There is no shame in saying no. Say it with your whole chest and keep it moving. Gosh, I'm only just learning this in my big 30 plus years. Like, if I learned how to say no in my 20s, by now I think I would have retired. Okay, maybe not retired, but I'd have a lot more money in the bank than I do now, that is for sure. So yeah, definitely harnessing the power of no is so important. Like, just in general, when it comes to just in life, boundaries and being able to say no. That's the book that I'm currently reading. Actually, it's called Boundaries. Again, I'm only in like the first chapter of it, so I'll let you guys know if it's any good. But yeah, that book's all about setting boundaries in relationships, etc. So it should be a good read. But yeah, no, it's important to have those boundaries and know when to say no, for sure. Sophia said, you know, I'm totally invested in your car wash and their cost. I just clocked your Sophia from my YouTube channel. Yeah, me too. That car wash, I haven't been back for a while though. My car is filthy. Oh my gosh, it has cobwebs on the window. It's so bad. But yeah, I'm going to go and take it to get washed on Saturday. In fact, I might go tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to go tomorrow. But yeah. Sorry, one more. I think I had one more point actually, guys. Gone off on a tangent reading all your lovely comments. I appreciate you guys sticking with me Thursday evening, spending your evening with me. It's been really fun actually. Really enjoyed this chat. The last one I've got actually on here is about your income being too low. So we've spoken at length about obviously all the different things that are busting your budget and making it difficult to break that payday to payday cycle. But I think another reason may be that you're genuinely not earning enough money. And if that is the case, then I would say, I guess, think about things you can do to kind of increase your income. So you may not be able to maybe take on a side hustle or get a second job because of life commitments. I don't know, maybe you have kids and you have to look after them in the evening, so you don't have time to maybe be doing Uber or whatever it may be on the side to make extra money. But what you could do is maybe look at upskilling so that your 9-to-5 job pays you more than what you're currently getting paid. So it could be a case of asking to do more courses. It could be taking that initiative to do it yourself, doing extra additional reading on the side so that you can add more value to yourself, so that you can then add more value to your employer and request more money for it, kind of thing. So definitely, especially for women as well. I know women, we're severely underpaid in comparison to our male counterparts. So it is definitely important to kind of demand your worth. So if you know you're being underpaid by your employer and you bring that value to your employer, then speak up for yourself and be like, actually, I've read online the job description for what I do, and this is what other companies are paying for the same exact role that I'm doing. So yeah, can you match this? And if you can't match this, then you don't have to stay there. Like, you literally don't have to stay there. You can change jobs and you can, move to somewhere else where you are getting the value that you deserve. So definitely, if that is one of the reasons why you think it's hard for you to break that cycle, that you need to earn more money, then those are the kind of things that you can do to do it. That's funny. So yeah, those are the kind of things that you can do to kind of free up, to kind of make more money, to then be able to put towards your different financial goals. But yeah, these are all the different reasons why I was saying that it's quite difficult to break that payday to payday cycle. And what I don't want is for anyone to leave this life discouraged, think, oh my gosh, yep, that's all of these things you're saying is me, and I'm never going to be able to break that cycle. Because the reality is you can, like, you literally can. You change your mind and you can literally change your life. And I'm definitely a testimony of that, because just me changing my mindset when it comes to what I'm able to do versus what I'm not able to do has been a game changer for me financially and just in all areas of life, to be honest. Just telling myself I can and just rewriting those negative scripts that I've been telling myself for all my life pretty much has really helped me to grow. And even me sitting down here talking to you guys live, this is because I've been trying to rewrite that script over the past few months and few years. Because before it was like, oh no, I can't possibly go live. Oh my gosh, no, I can't speak in public. I can't do this. I can't. Those are the things that I was saying to myself for so long. And here we are, fast forward. I've been talking to you guys for how long now? And it's been fine. I haven't died. Like, do you know what I mean? Yes, my heart may have been beating at the beginning of the live, but I still did it. I still showed up. We still had a chat. 10 of you are still here listening to me. Thank you for staying. But do you know what I mean? So we can change our lives. Like, literally, our financial position right now doesn't have to be where we are for the rest of our lives. Even today's actually, I think, a timely time to have this conversation, because tomorrow is the 1st of October. So we've got October, November, December, last quarter of 2021. There is still time to do something financially. So whatever the financial goals that you may have set at the start of the year that have kind of fallen by the wayside, you can still do something towards it in these last 3 months. So maybe you had said at the beginning of the year that you was going to become debt free, and that hasn't happened. You haven't even taken any steps towards it. You can still take steps towards it now. So don't think that, you know, because the last 9 months have been a write-off, that I'm just going to start again in 2021. Because the reality is you probably won't. Or if you do, you'll start maybe in January and then fall off by February. So you can start today, literally make that decision today that, no, I'm going to break this payday to payday cycle once and for all. And tomorrow I'll literally start taking steps towards it. And it's not going to be an overnight thing. Like, if you've been living a certain way for all this time, you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and be like, yes, this is it now. I'm going to be a boss with my money. I'm not going to spend any money beyond my budgeted categories. I'm not going to buy anything on input. It's not realistic, but you can be conscious and intentional with these financial decisions that you're making. And just those small wins that you make along the way make all the difference, will make all the difference. So like I was saying earlier about the 72-hour rule. So one of the things that can help you, if you're, for example, one of your goals, maybe I want to say £500 by the end of 2021, like that's a tangible goal that it's not an easy goal depending on where you are financially, but it's still a goal that's quite smart in terms of it being specific. So you're specifically saying, in the next 3 months, I'm going to save £500. So how are you going to get there? Now you've got that goal. How are you going to get there? You can break that goal down into monthly goals. So each month I'm going to save, Lord have mercy, help me with my maths, I think it's like 175. If it's wrong, don't shoot me. Whatever it is anyway, that 500 divided by 3, break it down. Okay, that's how much I need to save each month. Okay, now break that down into a weekly goal. So that tells you how much each week you need to save towards that goal. Okay, now break that weekly goal into a daily goal. Okay, so how am I now going to do it? And then when you set those goals and you start thinking this way, suddenly you realize all these opportunities that start coming your way that you hadn't even seen before. So now that you're thinking, okay, I need to save an extra £50 this week. How am I going to do that? Okay, maybe I'm not going to get a takeaway this week. Okay, maybe I'm going to walk to work instead of getting the bus. Or maybe I'm going to cycle instead of driving. Or maybe I'm just going to not go to not go to dinner with my friends tomorrow. Whatever it may be, you can start making those little sacrifices to free up that money to put towards that goal. And then in a month's time, so 1st of November, you could be like, wow, I've saved £100 towards that goal. And you're breaking that big goal into smaller goals and rewarding yourself as you're progressing towards that goal, towards that final destination. But I think to write off 2021 now would just not be a great idea, I don't think, because I think there's still time. Literally, it's just a case of making up your mind, saying that I'm going to do XYZ by this date, and just breaking it down into daily goals. So that's something that I'm working on even for myself. So as I'm sharing with you guys, I'm also learning things along the way too, and that's kind of what I do on my platform anyway. It's kind of sharing my own financial journey and also sharing what I've learned and what's helped me, so that it can help you. So that's why this whole goals before the end of 2021 thing that I'm sharing now is something that I'm saying it to you as I'm saying it to myself, or I said it to myself and now I'm saying it to you. It's like, yeah, don't write off 2021 yet, because I, for one, was feeling very discouraged when I was reviewing my goals that I set in December for this year. I was like, wow, Tolly, you have failed. But then I had to remind myself that actually, no, when I look at what I've achieved over the last 9 months, yes, it might not be everything that was on the list, but I'm definitely a lot closer to those goals than I was at the start of the year. And that's good enough. The main thing is showing up consistently and putting in that effort, and whatever that goal is, working towards it, and not beating yourself up if you fall short, because none of us are perfect. None of us have arrived. We're all on a journey. We're all trying to get to a certain destination. But I think just being intentional, being specific, and just setting those goals and working towards them daily is all you can really do. So yeah, just be encouraged, I guess, is what I'm saying. Like, 2021 is not over yet. Like I said on my reel yesterday, that wasn't very great, but I'm saying it again now, so that, yeah, it's better. But yeah, those goals in which you set some goals for the last quarter of 2021. That's my challenge to you today. Set yourself some goals for the last quarter. Even if you didn't have goals at the start of the year, now's the time to set some and be like, okay, this time, Happy New Year. What am I going to be cheering about? Obviously, we're going to be cheering about the fact that we've made it, God willing. But in addition to that, what kind of goal can you set yourself that's realistic for the next 3 months? So maybe, like I said earlier, the £500 goal. If that's too much, make it 250. Whatever it is, just set yourself a specific goal so that you have something to then measure yourself against. Come January 2021, you can be like, oh my gosh, last quarter of the year, I achieved X, Y, Z. And do you know what I mean? It's just a nice, rewarding feeling to know that you set yourself a goal, you've worked towards it, and then you've achieved it. So yeah, that's my encouraging word as I close for you guys this evening. It's just set some goals for the end of the year and you can smash it. The payday to payday cycle is not an easy one to crack. I'm not 100%. I make mistakes. I fall short, but I'm still here and I keep trying and I keep showing up each day. And that's the best thing that you can do. Is just be intentional, have that plan, work that plan, fall down, get up, keep going, don't quit, don't give up, and you can get to that destination. And yeah, that's my encouraging word for you guys today. So let me know if you have any final questions, any final comments before I wrap this thing up. But yeah, it's been really good actually, guys. Thanks for joining me on my first episode of Money Talks Season 3, Episode 1. It's been really good having you here. Sophia said, very true. I started in March and have sinking fund, investment portfolio, emergency fund, and Christmas sinking fund completed. That is absolutely fantastic. Go ahead, Sophia. Exactly. Absolutely incredible. And that's just in the space of 9 months so far of this year. And that's the thing, once you get that plan and you work that plan, you have something to measure yourself against, and you can look back each month and be like, wow, I've achieved this, I've achieved that, I'm here, I'm there, and you can kind of see your progress. And I bet you just feel so accomplished, Sophia, knowing that, okay, I set these goals and I've worked towards achieving them. And I want that for all of you guys on here. Like, literally set those goals, work those goals, and don't beat yourself up if you fall short. That's the one thing I want you to take away, is that yes, changing a habit of a lifetime is not an easy thing to do. If you've lived your life one way up until now, to now just think you're going to wake up tomorrow and just be perfect at managing your money is not very realistic. But the main thing is intentionality and just kind of having a plan and working that plan. So yeah, do that and I think you'll be good. Yeah, oh my gosh, go on, Sophia. All done on a low income as I'm still at university and budget every month. Congratulations, man. No, thank you. Oh, brilliant. Now I'm glad I can help you. I'm really glad I can help you. What goals have you set for yourself for the last quarter of the year? oh gosh. That's a whole YouTube video that I'm going to do discussing my goals for the last quarter, because there's a lot to get through. So I've set myself some financial goals, some savings goals, and productivity goals. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a video that's coming soon, so subscribe and you'll hear more about it when that video is released. But that's going to be coming out next week at some point, where I go through my goals for October, because that's one of the posts on my page that I know gets a lot of engagement. People actually like those goals video. I personally don't like doing those goals posts because, again, like I was saying earlier, when you fall short, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm a flop. But you have to just reward yourself and just congratulate yourself for the progress and for what you have achieved. So that's why I don't mind now. I'm going to be sharing the goals and the results. And yeah, that's going to be coming next week. So watch this space and I will share it with you. But I'm definitely planning to put in the work in this last quarter and end 2021, God willing, with a bang. So yeah, that is literally it for tonight's episode. It's so weird like doing this without a guest, but I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. It's been really lovely talking to you guys. I've enjoyed catching up with you, and I will be back this time next week with a special guest. to talk about another money topic or another. So yeah, our next week's one's gonna be a really, really good one actually. So you're gonna want to tune in. I'll share the flyer for that early next week. So yeah, just watch this space for that. But it's gonna be same time next week, 8 p.m. I'm gonna have an amazing guest to talk about a really important actually money topic. So yeah, watch this space because it's coming soon. But yeah, if there's no further questions, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up and I will be back. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour. I'm definitely going now. Thank you, Amma. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here with me. And I will see you guys, next week for the next episode of Money Talks.